Right, honest question. If this was your only family car, could you live with it every single day? This is the new Toyota Urban Cruiser, and it's either going to feel brilliantly easy or quietly annoying, depending on how you actually use your car. So let's talk about it. Because this isn't one of those EVs that tries to blow your mind with numbers. No, Toyota's gone the other way. They've focused on ease. Ease to drive, ease to live with, and easy for the family. But, and this matters, that only works if your driving life fits a certain pattern. So as we go through this review, just keep asking yourself, is my daily driving mostly local or motorway? This sits in the small EV SUV space, so think sort of Yaris Cross sort of size. Smaller than a Kona or a Nero, so straight away expectations need to be right. This isn't about maximum space or maximum tech, it's about being easy, and easy is quite underrated for families. In the UK you've got two battery options. The entry level uses a 49 kilowatt hour battery, which produces roughly 140 brake horsepower. And with that, Toyota say just around 210 miles range. That's obviously the WLTP figure. The one that most families will look for is a little bit further up the trim level, and it uses a 61 kilowatt hour battery. It's roughly around 170 brake horsepower, and Toyota say WLTP you can see around 260 odd miles of range. Now, real world, you're not going to see anywhere near that, especially on a motorway run with the heating on. No EV does. The bigger battery just means that you'll think about charging less often. And to be honest, that's what makes family life with an EV just that little bit easier. So charging is pretty straightforward. At home on a 7 kilowatt wall box, you're looking at up to 8 hours for the smaller battery. Then you're looking at 9 to 10 hours for obviously the bigger battery. So overnight charging at home on your driveway is super easy. It's also the cheaper option. Now if you do a lot of motorway commutes, obviously using rapid chargers is obviously one of your main options. On a public rapid charger it'll peak at about 65-70 kilowatts, which means 10 to 80% in about 40 minutes. Now I know what you're going to think, that's not class leading, and if you're constantly road tripping you'll notice. But if most of your charging is at home, won't really bother you. Inside, this is very Toyota. It's calm, sensible, and it's familiar. The driving position is slightly raised, which is actually great around town. You've got a good view out, it's really easy to place, and it doesn't feel intimidating at all. The seats are more comfort first. They're not sporty, but they're supportive enough that you don't get fed up when you're sitting in traffic. And if it's a car that both you and your partner use, so you're swapping drivers a lot, it's really easy to get comfortable quickly. Now behind the wheel there is a joint display of digital driver display and your infotainment screen. The digital driver display, it's clear, it's uncluttered, speed, range, battery percentage, driver aids, it's all there, there's no messing about. The infotainment screen's a good size, it sits high on the dash, and you've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which just means that you'll just connect your phone and crack on. And thank you Toyota, because they're still keeping with physical buttons for your climate control and obviously a little knob here for your volume, which means when someone says that they're cold, there's no messing about diving into menus, it's just there, it's simple, it's easy, and it works. The only thing I don't like about the interior is the piano black. Within minutes after cleaning it, you see the dust, you see fingerprints, but it's only on this part of the centre console and a bit around the steering wheel. The rest of it is pretty much non-dust attracting material. Now storage in here actually surprised me because it's actually pretty decent. There's sensible places for phones, bottles, you can stash wipes, snacks, pretty much everything that lives in a family car. We have a decent sized glove box, decent sized door bins, obviously the storage underneath the centre armrest, and obviously we get this little tray here for a phone, and obviously a tray under here also. Nothing clever, nothing annoying, and you're not constantly asking, where can I put this? In the back, space is actually really good for the size. And this sliding rear bench, slide it all the way back and you get more leg room, but it does mean you get less boot space. Slide it forward, you get more boot space, but you get less rear leg room. It means you can adapt the car to the sort of day you're having. School run one day, big shop the next. Comfort wise, it's good. Same with the seats in the front. They're not sporty. I mean, it's not meant to be, but they are comfortable and supportive. The middle seat is very narrow, so it's only really good for small children. Headroom is good. Legroom with the seats slid back is excellent. Down here we have a USB-A and USB-C socket, so kids can charge their devices. No mat pocket on the back of the driver's seat, but there is one on the back of the passenger. Door bin is only big enough for a bottle, so obviously kids can have a drink back here. But other than that, isofix points, easy to get to, so fitting your child's car seats are nice and easy. The doors open nice and wide, so you don't have to wrestle and swear a lot getting those car seats in. Now, as for the boot space, it all depends on where that rear bench is. With the seats all the way back, you have 240 litres. And then with the seats forward, you get just over 300 litres. So no, it's not massive, but it's usable, just as long as you're not carrying half your house everywhere with you. It is practical too. We do have a couple of storage bins on either side. Got a couple of tethers on the back of the seat, and underneath you have a little bit of a storage area under there. No space for your charging cables, and the Urban Cruiser doesn't have a front, like a little storage space underneath the bonnet at the front, like some EVs do, so you do have to lug around your cables in the boot. Now, driving this around town is where it really makes sense. The steering's light, the visibility is actually really good. You do have some chunky C-pillars, but obviously with the reversing camera, that just takes that out of the equation when you're parking. And another thing that's good about it is it's really easy to place. So parking, school runs, tight street, car parks, it's just low stress. The ride is tuned more for comfort. Speed bumps, rough roads, potholes, it deals with them really calmly. It don't crash or thump, which is pretty much a win, especially in an electric car, because they always are a little bit stiffer. At low speeds, it's smooth and quiet, which just makes everything feel easier. When you get it up on the motorway though, it settles and it's a relaxed cruiser. It's stable, predictable and comfortable enough that you don't feel knackered after half an hour of driving. It's not exciting, but it's not tiring either. And for family driving, that's usually the right trade-off, I think. Now, a little bit of an ownership reality, because I mean, unless you can charge it at home, financially it's not going to make a lot of sense, because I find that public charging network is getting quite expensive. I mean, local to me, Instavolts are around 90p a kilowatt. So if you can charge at home, the running costs are good, and it keeps that obviously cost down and beneficial for owning an EV. Toyota do include a heat pump with the Urban Cruiser. Solid safety tech like your adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, pretty much standard what you get in a new car these days. And obviously you get that really long, excellent Toyota warranty, which is quite reassuring, especially if transitioning into an EV feels like a bit of a leap. Compared to other EVs, I feel that the Urban Cruiser, it'd just be one of them EVs that you could just really get along with. So here's a question. Should a UK family buy the Toyota Urban Cruiser? Now, if most of your driving is local or regional and you can charge at home, then this is a really easy EV to live with. For most families, I'd recommend the 61 kilowatt hour battery, just for more peace of mind. It's not flashy, it's not the fastest charging, but it's calm, sensible, and it's been properly thought through for everyday family use. And with a price from around £30,000, it's reasonable too, especially backed up with Toyota's warranty and Toyota's reputation for reliability. If you enjoyed this, please do give it a like. It really helps more than you know. And if you're cross-shopping this with something else, or you want to know if it works for your daily life, you know, mileage, kids, home charger or not, drop it in the comments and I'll give you a straight up answer. Please do subscribe for more honest family car reviews, and I'll see you in the next one.